understand that reading a no-sleep story is, of course, not the most relaxing thing, especially if you're quite prone to being afraid. So, without any further ado, let's see what this little thing can do, and I'm hoping it's alright. It'd be even better if I could mount it somewhere, but we do what we can, right? Okay. I've been looking for a bunch of adult, not lullabies, bedtime stories, and I'm disappointed because most of them are awful and not what I'm looking for. They're all really fancy-pantsy and really hipster and written by like 60-year-old people. I just wanted like a playful, well-written bedtime story, but hey, once again, we do whatever we can. Okay, so what I did was, I found a subreddit called Bedtime Stories, where people can, just like you and me, can submit their bedtime stories that they wrote. And so, yeah, I'm just gonna whisper read some of those, and hopefully, with a droning whisper, I can end up knocking some of you guys out. So, for the third time, without further ado, let's begin with the first story. It is called Cozy Nights, and it's written by Lewis V. And the story goes like this. Right now, it's 1:33 a.m. I'm sitting in a pretty modern loft, a 2-story apartment on top of the building with a lot of glass. I'm alone and young and pretty old by mind. I'm listening to some jazz, classic and soft jazz. I think mid-70s, beginning 80s kind of jazz. It was a pretty rainy day, so I could see that the whole window, which is pretty much the whole building because it was so modern. Every night, the people from across the street would watch TV with cozy lights turned on. They went to sleep an hour ago, I guess. I hear the car now. And then, because it was in the middle of the main street in Belgium, I would also hear friends on the street making a lot of fun, reminding me of the people I see every day at the beach club. Probably around 20s with a lot of expensive clothing. I actually never felt so cozy in my life ever before, knowing I could do anything I want, but everything I wanted was in reach of my own hands. Nice jazz music, a blanket, a cup of coffee, and a book, and my console for the lights. After this night, I started dreaming about the future, because I literally have my whole life in front of me. And since I only have one, I need to make the best of it. I lost my place. I started is because I learned to enjoy the little things in life. It's doing and hearing the things you like in combination that can bring your eyes to tears. I wished we all were a little bit more thankful. Thanks. So, it was a pretty good story, quite amateurly written. I'm not an English student at all, but while reading, I was like adding words and subtracting words, because I think instead of using the word the, he actually used DE, so it was in the middle of the main street. So these are not supposed to be professionally written stories, just supposed to be, you know, just something relaxing and hopefully properly written. So the next story comes, well, I guess I kind of gotta find it. Let's go to the top. Once upon a time there was a bagel. It's the highest rated one. Let's give it a shot. It looks like it's gonna be a joke, so let's make it a little bit painful. So it's called Once Upon a Time There Was a Bagel, and it was written 1 year ago by Noit Cheneflem. The story goes like this. Once upon a time, there was a bagel, and it was blueberry, and it frolicked in the bread aisle with the whole wheat, and all was good in the world until the grocer noticed the whole wheat's expiration date had passed, at which the grocer took the whole wheat away. The blueberry bagel was devastated and decided to end its life, and so he leaped from the top shelf. Fortunately for the bagel, it landed in the display for the cheesecakes right atop an old New York style chocolate cheesecake. The chocolate cheesecake proclaimed, "I think I have a bagel on my head. I think I have a bagel on my head." And this caught the attention of his neighbor, Miss Strawberry Cheesecake. She's married, so you better watch out. Who was at the time trying to phone her good friend, Mr. Beef Stroganoff, who lived several aisles away. However, without any arms or hands, or access to a telephone, this had proved futile so far. However, this is entirely beside the point. Miss Strawberry Cheesecake looked at Mr. New York style chocolate cheesecake and said, "I do believe you are right, so." And the two of them proceeded to have tea, while the blueberry bagel wept uncontrollably over the loss of his friend. And that's when was a grumpy old pig who lived alone in his sty. The other farm animals would say hello, but Peter would just turn a blind eye. Okay, so it does rhyme. Let's party. Then one morning, it started to rain, whilst Peter was rolling in the mud. It rained and rained, and it rained some more, until finally it started to flood. It flooded poor Peter right out of his pen and washed him down the farm. "Oh, please help," cried Peter. "Please help this old pig, lest I should come to some harm." The rain washed him past horses, and past a gruff billy goat, and past a field of crows. It washed him past chickens, and past little ducks, until he finally stopped with an owl. "Oh, won't someone help me?" cried Peter out loud. "I'm lost all this way from my sty." "Don't worry," said Ollie, the friendly little otter. "I'll help you now. Please don't cry." To find your way home, all you must do is retrace your steps in your mind. "Oh, thank you, dear otter," said Peter Pig. "You really are so kind." So back went Peter, past ducks and chickens, past cows and a gruff billy goat, past all the horses, and back to his pen, where the rain had made a mud moat. The very next morning, the rain had all gone, and the animals all came to stop by. And for once, Peter smiled and said hello, and invited them to his sty. "Welcome," said Peter, "to you, one and all. Won't you please stay and have some tea and cake? Some New York style cake. Cheesecake. For a friend in need is a friend indeed." And a grateful Peter had found friends to make. That was actually really, really playful and super fun to read. And once again, the comments. This was absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, the writer responded, "Thank you so much. I am glad you enjoyed it." Just beautiful. This whole subreddit is just people cuddled up in their bed, just all joyful and ready to fall asleep to some stories. But yeah, there you go. I would love to do this video again, but of course much more professionally. So, proper microphones and a proper relaxing intro. Take a breath, relax, maybe a little bit of like meditation beforehand, and then very slowly and properly read a proper bedtime story. So, I hope you enjoyed. I hope the silliness was quite fun and enjoyable. And please wish me luck as I figure out this situation with the microphones, because it was a small issue for months, and now I can't even use them, and I've done so much work to them. So my guess we gotta be optimistic and don't be a grumpy old pig. Unless you want